Gets earthquakes, gets hit. Out comes the army on the nuke!
What goes on here with the silence?
The questionable decision making. Gets help from the keynote.
Yeah, it might go on, but I might be paying for that. It's not a confident in overstaying his welcome. A lot of us are going to be absolutely assaulted by all that is you. But three people on a run are suffering from DOT.
Right, off the jump that rotation, Nikki's gonna fall for it and immediately gets smashed on it.
I think that's
this is not good, that's a double kill. Now stays in a very bad situation. He actually managed to find the total the same as mine that we've talked about in the pregame. He is in such a bad situation right now. And he's just taking so much damage. He might be able to make a double here. He actually does.
Oh my god.
And he
Oh, the
finds
dream.
it, and now he's
going now. He's getting taken out. Island knows just running.
What? No way.
Oh
my god,
Cat.
you actually got that.
What an amazing bait. Cat, what is that?
Hello everybody, and welcome to the Awesomenauts Rumble Scrim Show. I am Uberanzi, and with me is another caster by the name of Slow Wolf. How you doing?
Hi, Uber. I'm good, thanks for asking. It's good to be here again. How are you doing today?
I am doing good. I did not really sleep last night, but who cares? We're going to get through this. It's going to be good. It's going to be fun. I will force myself to have fun for this. I got the caffeine for it.
Well, honestly, as far as I'm concerned, it's a competitive game of knots. I'm having fun regardless. With that said, though, there are a couple things that we need to go through first, aren't there?
Yes, and I will start knocking those off one by one. So first of all, you've got all the social media, and you've got things like the Steam group for the Awesomenauts Rumble and some other streamer groups as well. You can find most of these down below. Look how I'm pointing. That's so original. Haha. Anyways, and on to the slightly more major and important sort of plugs and information things. We've got the Awesomenauts Scrim portal, which although we do not own it, Awesomenauts Rumble, I mean, we do highly endorse it, and it's very good for keeping the competitive Awesomenauts community well in practice, well in shape, and alive. And there is a Discord link, and I believe there was also a Steam group. I don't know if that's really like a thing anymore, but anyways, just join the Discord using the Discord app. And there should be a Discord link somewhere. Maybe it's on the stream. Maybe it's in the chat. I don't know. And we've got a couple more important plugs, I guess would be the word. A couple more.
Well, some of them, let's say, some of them pack quite a bit of punch, if I remember correctly.
Your soul.
I'm on point today.
Slow Wolf, caster extraordinaire. Caster for things like, just so many great Awesomenauts tournaments. Like he did like the Awesome Cup too. Just, cream of the crop.
That was supposed to be a segue into something other than you, I think, being sincere.
Yeah, we'll say sincere. But anyways, yeah, the actual points so that we don't waste too much time. We have the Skoldir Showdown. Skoldir 1v1 tournament, and it's going to be a open invite tournament, unlike the first one here. So this is the second one. So you could actually just sign up. There should be a Google Forms sheet somewhere. It might be in the chat even again. I don't know. But you can get that, and you'll be able to actually put in your signups, and you should do that soon, because tonight's at 8 p.m. Eastern, so that's pretty early in the morning for people in the UK area, or about 5 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Western or Pacific time if you're also in North America or South America even. So make sure you sign up for that if you haven't already, if you want to. I mean, like, I'm not exactly a Skull player, but even I have signed up, and I'm gonna get stomped by like Nikki or something. But either way, it's good fun. Open invite. A $50 cash prize for the first place winner. Second place, I believe, gets $30. Plus, there's plenty of Awesomenauts DLC for the playoff makers. Everyone who makes the playoffs gets a piece of Awesomenauts DLC. First place gets 3. Second place gets 2. Something like that. But either way, we have been talking enough about plugs and social stuff. And who has social lives? Who cares? Either way, we got the first match to get into. and we can get right into the drafts for this. And we've got the first match on. Would you like me to do the drafts, or do you want to?
You know what? Please take us through the draft.
All right. Catch my breath. All right. Anyways, so for the first draft here, we've got Aiglon with team. Let's just read out the names first. We've got Pillow playing Swiggins, and we've got Nick. I don't really know how to pronounce his name, so I'll just call him Nick. He's got a name, whatever. And Mr. Manager playing Durple. And then we've got Penny being played by YOLO. Jambo playing your Lux, piloted by Jimmy/Amy. And Baldy Hunter playing your Sentry. I didn't talk about the bands too much, but whoops-a-daisies. We're all out of order today. Sorry. But for the bands, for the red team here, we've got the Gnaw, Genji, and Froggy. Lots of really strong knots there. Lots of CC and damage can come out from the Gnaw. Genji is just too good of an initiator and counter-initiator with Shield and Cocoon. And then for the bands for the blue team, we've got Vinny, Deadlift, and Voltar. So that's actually a lot of burst and anti-burst, like sort of counter-burst and nuking in all those bands there. So maybe that's going to kind of help their playstyle here. We'll see how it goes, but do you have any thoughts about these teams? Anything specific?
Mostly the bands interest me the most. We're on Aiguillon, so Durple makes sense. Durple as a character makes a lot of sense here as far as pickups go, because like on Ribbit, he has the ability to move fairly quickly from up to down, and in this particular case actually has the added benefit of being able to go through the bounce pads in a direction that most other knots can't. So on the drafts themselves, the teams themselves are pretty sweet. The things that interest me are the bands here. The red team picks up Durple first pick, but bans out Frog. Usually I find that Durple is a counter to Frog. Any kind of silence traps really neuters Frog's ability to do very much. And on top of that, they last picked Swiggins, who also does a pretty reasonable number against our amphibious friend here. So I'm kind of interested in that ban, but then the blue team did something similar with the Voltar ban. I mean, I've never seen Voltar banned, at least not recently. So either I'm missing something, or somebody banned something for laughs, honestly.
If they banned something for laughs, I know why. It's probably because Mr. Pillow is on the red team, and he likes his Voltar. I'm just gonna throw that out there, but
okay, well that makes a lot of sense. That makes a little bit more sense at least. The blue team's got a very synergistic kind of lineup. Sentry and Penny work really well together, and Missiles plus Sentry work really well together. Amy, in this case, is just going to be a really good tertiary kind of knot. The red team, lots of collapse, lots of initiate. Actually, all three of them can initiate, so it doesn't really matter which one of them initiates. They've got a tool for each situation. So we'll see whether or not they can manage to get those initiations off on the blue team or not. But we're going to have to be in the game to see that. So if you want to go ahead and hop into the game, I am ready to go when you are.
All right, yes, I am at the 12-second mark. Would you like me to give you a countdown?
Yes, please.
Alrighty, 12-second mark on Aiglon. 3, 2, 1, go.
And we are here on Aiguillon. It is, I mean, it's a map. It's a really annoying map for some people. On the red team, you got Mr. Pillow playing your Swiggins. You got Nicky, or Nick. We're going to call him Nick. Nick's going to be playing your Scoldier. And you got Dr. Couch, or, you know, Mr. Manager, I'm guessing, playing your Durple. On the blue team, you got Body Hunter playing your Sentry. You got YOLO playing your Penny. And you've got Yumbo playing your Amy. Things starting off pretty simplistically here. I mean, stuff that makes a lot of sense. Ancient Octant, really powerful ability for Swiggins that picked up this early. Fat Cat right out of the gate for Durple allows him a lot of power despite his, despite his mobility issues usually. Having that access to a cat gun upgrade that is a one-off kind of one-hit wonder is really, really strong. The blue team, by contrast, have picked up a lot of very strong upgrades as well, but, I mean, they're definitely upgrades that make a lot of sense just as value picks all over the board here. Night Vision, Spy Watch, and Danger Pins both are probably arguably the most powerful upgrades for those characters, especially early game. And then you've got Zurian Mechanic.
Oh my god!
Does not matter very much here as the throw goes out. Big one. Body Hunter gets picked off by Dr. Couch. Well done, but YOLO's now running for his life. Needs to be careful. On the flip side, we got Amy taking a lot of pressure. Mr. Pillow will get the kill on to Yambo. No problem. But Penny does manage to get away. Still, a 2-for-0 pickoff. An excellent throw by Nick here. And another excellent throw. The grapple drop is real. It's going to be another kill there for the Durple. And that'll be a return kill by Body Hunter, but that's still effectively a 3-for-1.
Yeah, that first throw was pretty amazing. That was a triple throw just right into their turret. That was pretty brutal, and I managed to secure like the 2 kills there, get him a little bit of push, but Nick got a little too aggressive, I suppose, got caught in the black hole maybe, and that was the end for him. But, you know, that's kind of the something I want to talk about too, is that's kind of the thing that you can expect in 3.5 for a lot of the knots as well, because, you know, 3.5 has been out for a while. It's not exactly new news anymore, but, you know, you can get stuff like Danger Pins, you can get stuff like Night Vision Spine Watch, you can get stuff like Ancient Octant and, you know, Stun Punch right away. Like, you get 190 solar if you do the drop properly. That's a lot for some really important upgrades, and I mean core or key upgrades, like, you know, the ones that really change the fundamentals of ability, like adding an AoE to Swiggins, free stun on your auto attack, Night Vision Spy Watch gives you extra movement speed, allowing Sentry to be a very powerful initiator, more so than he already was. And that's just so effective, especially in the early game. And actually, Body Hunter might be in a bad spot. He's going to get thrown. He's got that fully charged black hole. Is he going to go down? He's going to go down to the dirt hole, with 2 members of the red team being about half health. Oh, the anchor drop. YOLO's just going to get taken straight down to hell with that. But he might be able to get away here. The nice charge from Jambo, not quite able to kill Pillow. But Pillow was able to get behind the turret, teleport out with Jambo, just trying to save his teammate there. That was a really good Danger Pins charge, and that was also a really good anchor drop from Mr. Pillow there. Almost got the trade, almost got some kills there, but Durple getting that nice pick on Body Hunter is going to give the red team even more of an advantage with the 4-to-1 kill ratio here, and a complete level advantage. Nick's got the invis as well here, so he's going to be able to just go in and get a really solid throw if he's less lucky and more so very skillful, and he's going to get that throw on YOLO, but YOLO's just going to drop down. Jambo's going to get anchored, hooked, and dropped. With all that burst damage from Blue Heart Metal, he's going to go down from the consecutive auto attacks and burst from the red team as well. You can't mess with Skull's auto attack. It's pretty deadly.
Skull's auto attack can do a decent amount of damage, to say the least. I agree, but I think that can be said of everybody on the red team's left click. Seriously, Skoldir, Swiggins, and Durpo all have a relatively powerful left click, especially with Fat Cat in tow. Out comes a good grapple drop, a throw to kind of put people in a weirder situation, but that's going to be all that ends up happening there, honestly. They just kind of reset immediately afterwards. Blue team putting on a lot of pressure in this upper area. They're going to go in with the burst. Well played by Jumbo, but at what cost exactly? The anchor snap is almost enough to get the kill, but only almost. Yambo gets picked off with the grapple instead, and the double kill going away. Mr. Pillow with a well-placed grapple is going to, continue this red team's domination of the map right now. They almost have a numerical 2-level advantage, even after losing 1 or 2 deaths here or there. I'm interested to see what you think about Penny, and specifically Penny going gun build in this case. Is this a good move, a bad move, necessary?
You don't want to get close to the Skull when you got a team like that, so I'd say it's definitely a good move here. That's going to be a lot of structure damage, it's going to help in team fights, and you can still throw out the pulse or the pounce to assist your team in escaping or securing kills. But the gun penny just allows her to be a lot safer, and be able to pick up the nice kills like that, with YOLO getting the kill on Mr. Pillow. Yeah, Jambo and YOLO both a little hurt. Body Hunter even more so now with that DOT, but Nick is going to take so much damage from Danger Pins, Gun Penny, but Gun Penny, or Penny really, doesn't have the charges, but Body Hunter with the sneaky telefrag, wow, just sneaks in there, gets the base telefrag damage, and manages to pick up the kill on Nick there, which is kind of amazing. And now the blue team has the opportunity to push, but they're very low, and there's a nuke right there. They're not going to be able to do much. Dr. Couch is just going to get caught in that, but not much is going to happen from it. A little bit of poke on the turrets here and there, and that's what Gun Penny is good at. Gun Penny can poke at those turrets and assist in the team fights, and even with nerfs to auto attack damage and whatnot that have happened for Penny because of how strong it was, and still pretty much is. Oh, that black hole catches all 3 of the members of the red team there. Anchor drop isn't going to do much. There's the drop nuke though. That's a much better drop for damage, but YOLO's going to be able to just teleport out of there right away. There's the throw on Body Hunter with Nick just using the speed boost to kind of just get out of dodge and just leave. Doesn't want to deal with that half-charged black hole. That can be scary times, especially with a gun penny.
Absolutely. Not to mention that not even a gun penny, but just like a pulse immediately afterwards can do a ton of damage, because the pulse lands and then amplifies the amount of damage that they take from the black hole. So that's a really potent combo, like a really nice 1-2 punch. The only thing that can make it worse is some missiles, which we aren't going to see come out quite yet, but they're waiting for it. Jumbo's got himself poised and ready to land those things. It's just a matter of finding the right time, because there are a lot of stuns on this red team. That's something that's costing them a lot right now.
Oh, Body Hunter.
Out comes a really good throw. Body Hunter taking the majority of the damage of the grapple drop. The snap will be enough to get the kill, but a double kill goes the way of both teams, actually, by the end of that. Now it's Mr. Pillow versus YOLO. Can YOLO get out of here alive versus the Swiggins? It's going to be a very close getaway. You could see the singed hairs on her tail as she manages to just make it past that grapple. That was really close. Mr. Pillow almost getting the kill.
Yeah, that missed by a hair. Like, you could just, like, as soon as it missed, you could just slow it down and see the moment that Mr. Pillow's, like, you know, face of anguish and screaming just, you know, came out there on Swiggin's sprite there. Yeah,
pretty much. I mean, not that Swiggins in particular can really emote anger, to be honest with you. He's an abyssal horror. There's not much.
Well, he's always angry. I don't think, like, you know, abyssal horrors and eldritch horrors are ever really happy.
No, that's true. And you know what gives it away though the most? It's the glowing red eyes. Like, that's just kind of the universal symbol for, hey, it's a bad guy. We're sitting here at the 7 minutes, almost 8-minute mark. Out comes a good throw. Yambo taking a good chunk of the damage. Grapple drop going to be enough to get the kill for sure. And Body Hunter, very low, needs to be careful. Mr. Pillow will be able to pick up a kill there instead. And now Body Hunter's sitting there just kind of waiting for Mr. Pillow to do what? I don't know. But anyway, this will be 1-0 pickoff. Again, this red team is doing really, really well. Blue team was showing signs of life there for a minute, to a point where they're now only half a level behind, which is really good. But at the same time, is it going to be enough to get them to get through this match? Mr. Pillow going in with the grapple drop. YOLO going in with that left click. Lots of damage being traded back and forth, but no kills yet. YOLO, maybe in a bad spot, has to back off for now. Mr. Pillow will gladly just squiddle on home, pick up some HP, and then try to find his way back in the fight. And he does. Yamba goes down, no problem, after he thought he could get away. Well, there's the Swiggins, and the Swiggins is ready. As things go along here, I'm expecting that Skoldir will continue to get more and more damage, but I think that the Swiggins in particular would really benefit from getting snap damage on his anchor.
Yeah, I think the auto attack damage on Swiggins could be really potent. Something that I would like to build into as Swiggins as well is sometimes just going full burst. And I mean, like, you get Blue Heart Metal, and then you get Fanatic Spoon and amp damage on chain for the anchor drop.
Does the amp damage work on the snap or no?
I don't think so, but you know, with a team, when you
have
good
big nuke coming out, Yambo, too low to survive this one. Mr. Pillow's going to be able to pick up the kill. Now it's a YOLO mid-air duel with Dr. Couch and Mr. Pillow, but everybody will kind of back off at this point. Out of curiosity, what is your timestamp right now?
9:40.
Okay, so you're about like 1 second ahead. I'm going to go ahead and fix that.
Well, I could just pause.
We're good. No, it's all good. I just fixed it.
All right.
So you should be about 9:50-ish, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. All right. But yeah, there you went to decide to go for full-on burst. Pneumatic Spoon's a good thing to get here. But also went blind? I can see why blind would be useful, but why do you think he went blind?
Well, it's a 1 second blind on auto attack that has the insane, you know, blind visual that, you know, was introduced a few patches ago, and it's just kind of stuck around. And blind is actually really dangerous because of that. So, you know, having blind on auto attack, it can actually be really good for chasing because, you know, Swiggin's auto attack doesn't affect his movement speed when he's got the ink shot. But there's a ton of fighting going on while I'm talking about this, with most of the blue team being very hurt. YOLO's actually going to go down to the Fat Cat, and that's going to be an easy pick-off for the red team here. They're going to try and get some push here. There's the black hole there. It's going to do a little bit of damage to Dr. Couch and the droids, but there's the nuke. Plenty of damage coming out on that top turret, but it's not going to come anywhere near close killing it. Jambo just trying to go, and Nick is going to miss the throw on Jambo, unfortunately, with Nick looking to teleport back. Same with Dr. Couch, and Pillow has the invis. So the red team is going to reset here and burn that invis and just try to, like, maybe get some stuff happening when the whole team returns. And we've got some pretty nice upgrades coming up for the red team as well. Double snare duration for Derple, snare quake, full healing on skulls, auto attack as well. That's going to be really effective for keeping them in the fight and for initiation as well. And then the nuke damage on Derple, you can't really go wrong with that, especially with such a lockdown heavy team comp. With YOLO taking a lot of DOT damage there, but he's going to be able to live. Jambo maybe less so. He's going to go down to all the auto attacks, the Derple turret mode, and Skull's auto attack's just too much to survive there, even for a tank. And, well, Mr. Pillow and Nick are just kind of poking at Penny here, with Penny with the gun Penny, you know, how many times can you say Penny before it gets redundant? They're just poking
It
at
depends, honestly, but in this particular case, you know what? I think it's going to do fine. The issue here, though, with Penny is that despite the gun, it's not enough to keep the lanes clear before they get to the turrets. This red team keeps on getting chip damage off. Anchor comes out. YOLO takes a decent amount of damage. He's going to have to back off for now. Out comes the throw. It's going to be able to hit everybody. YOLO is down for the count. Mr. Pillow going to go ahead and knock off a ninth kill from onto his belt. So that's going to be really, really good there. Another notch to add. He's looking really good at the moment. Lots and lots of farm. And, his team, I think, is really benefiting from it. There's not much I think that this blue team can really do at this stage because they don't have like any real momentum. The Sentry into Penny combo is not working, and Amy's just not doing enough. Even with access to the flip arm add-on, has had to do a late game piggy to kind of keep in this. A little bit of chase going on to Mr. Pillow, and he does end up getting picked off. Black Hole Sun going to be enough to go ahead and shut out the Swiggins escape. Nick is going to end up going down, but at what cost? Yambo goes down with him. Dr. Couch now the only one left standing for this red team, but it is a formidable person to have left standing on this red team. That turret mode does a lot of good work. So that's 2-for-1 exchange, all things considered. 13 minutes in. That's important, but they need to do that a lot more often and a couple more times in a row if the blue team wants to go ahead and have a chance at this game, I think.
I agree. And the something to note about the Swiggins getting so fed and just having so many kills, that's really good for Swiggins, because Swiggins is one of those characters that just needs a lot of money, and at least that's how I feel about him as well. He just needs so much money to really be at his super just peak performance and just be amazing. But with Fanatic Spoon, with auto attack damage, with the blind on auto attack, with all the beefiness from Barrier Mag and from Regen, he's just so strong now. And Pillow could just kind of go in and do whatever he wants. He's got all this auto attack damage, which he's going to use on Bounty Hunter as well as the anchor drop and hook. Pillow barely surviving as well. The barrier mag is really going to prove its worth there and save his life. He's going to be able to teleport out of there. Well, Nick and Dr. Couch kind of reset here after getting that nice frag.
Yeah, that was... I think that when it comes to Swiggins, it's not about getting a lot of money. It's about getting more money than your opponent. I think that Swiggins is ultimately the greatest snowball in Awesomenauts. If he gets started, he just keeps on rolling. His ability to do a lot of damage very, very quickly goes up exponentially quickly if he gets started that way. But if he ever falls behind in terms of Solar, it feels awful. There's no way for you as a Swiggins to really come back in those situations, other than, pray and hope that your team is, got your back, as it were. Still, despite that, the blue team aren't so far behind that they can't come back. And I think that at this stage, right now, they've got the best chance of doing that. Sentry taking a decent amount of damage. Mr. Pillow looking for an opportunity to get in there. Won't quite find it. Will find a black hole instead, and as a result, take a decent amount of damage. Now the blue team's trying to chase down, protect YOLO. YOLO gets off a pulse, but to no real avail. Now it's Yambo's turn. Jambo. Gets thrown and gets punched to death. Nick is going to easily pick up another kill then. It's going to be a 2-for-0. Exchange. 15 minutes into this, red team just as dominant as they have been this entire time, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, look at the kill counter too. It's 19-8. The red team's got a pretty big advantage here, double level advantage, extra money. They've got decent push as well. They just got to clear. Clearing is kind of the only issue with them, and they still have plenty of it. So really, Sentry. Honestly, the entirety of the blue team can clear it really well, almost better than the red team here. So that's kind of the only way they have to stop red team's pushes here with all the structure damage the red team has. They can just kind of poke at it, throw nukes and stuff if they want to. And there's the height and
drop. Throw goes up. Bounty Hunter taking a decent amount. Lands a good black hole, actually, which results in a double kill when Jumbo comes in to follow it up. Now Dr. Couch puts up the nuke, but it misses. There's going to try to be a wraparound, but Dr. Couch, like the slippery tortilla meat he is, seems to keep on getting out all the time. Out comes the snare, but Dr. Couch sticks in it and ends up getting picked off instead of running away when he had potentially a chance to get out alive. He ends up committing himself to a fight where he ends up dying. That won't happen a second time, though, as he picks up 3 ranks in force field. And as you mentioned before, the blue team have a lot of clear. They're going to go ahead and prove that by putting out a ton of damage on these turrets. 170 damage almost off of Yellow's bullets. Bomb turret's already almost down as well. Mr. Pillow's having to take care of top while his bomb turret gets completely taken out. Body Hunter getting grappled. Now it is YOLO's turn to be careful here as Mr. Pillow has his anchor again and can easily lock down Penny. If Penny gets locked down, That's no good whatsoever. Out comes the grapple. It ends up missing, and the team's kind of going back to their very tense standstill at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah. The blue team is definitely at a disadvantage here, but you can see what they can do if they can get a couple of kills like that. They just melt the turrets. That bottom turret was going down at like 3 bars a second. It was absolutely ridiculous. Like, I think because of the slightly laggy replay here, it was just disappearing. Just literally, it was so fast. And
a lot of that has to do with Penny, who does help up getting a kill there onto Nick, although it's mostly Body Hunter in that black hole of his. Black hole being an exceptional upgrade. Mr. Pillow barely dodges the pulse. Out comes a decent amount of missile damage from Dr. Couch. Dr. Couch is stuck. He gets completely caught out, and Body Hunter will get the kill. Now, Mr. Pillow needs to be careful here as he's the last one standing for the red team. Body Hunter going downstairs, dealing with this bomb turret, trying to put some harassment on it, poke damage, all that stuff. And the blue team is now caught up in terms of experience, something they've been working towards for quite some time. As far as Solar is concerned, though, they're still working their way up there. I mean, Admiral Swiggins is sitting there on 2,400. The highest on the blue team is at 1,800. So that's something to tell you. Out comes the Anchor, deals a decent amount of damage. Body Hunter now is an almost fully charged black hole, and that's something to watch out for. But yeah, honestly, the story right now is that there is a severe solar disadvantage for the blue team. They are several upgrades behind on every single one of their cases. But it doesn't seem to matter here as they start to take the experience lead and get another easy pickoff onto
Are they just
Nick.
gonna turn this around and win, like, instantly? Just with all the push they have?
It's possible. It's definitely possible. Penny can push really, really hard with that gun of hers doing full damage to these turrets.
And we got the blue team just trying to poke and body this bottom turret. Oh, there's the black hole. The turret's gonna go down. That's a double kill with Jambo with the missiles. That's pretty much
absolutely game. There's no way for the red team to stop this right now. That is a 200 damage bullet. Oh, sorry. 180 damage bullet coming out of YOLO every time that left click goes off. Not to mention that Yambo and Body Hunter are doing a fair amount themselves as well. But why are they backing off?
I think they're just BMing right now and just waiting for, like, I don't know what they're doing here, but like they're just kind of, oh, YOLO's gonna go in and finish off the base. It looks like, yeah.
Okay, there we go. That should have happened.
BM. You can never have too much BM. Well, maybe you can have too much BM because sometimes you BM so hard that you just lose. But yeah, that happens a lot in games like Hearthstone. It's pretty funny. But either way, enough about other games by other companies. Well, this game's over. Victory goes to the blue team here with comprised of Body Hunter, YOLO, and Jambo. And they have won this first match here. Props to them. Props to Mr. Pillow, Nick, and Dr. Couch for playing in this scrim as well. Putting in an excellent fight and really snowballing in the first half of that match until blue team got even like any footing back. But
it was really one double kill in particular, I think, that really clinched it. But as you say, game's a game and game's over. So we're moving on to the second game, aren't we? But first, we need to take a quick break. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with another scrim after a quick, like 2-3 minute break. Stay tuned.
See you then.
Alpaca off.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Awesomenauts Rumble Scrim Show. And we are back after a fairly long delay. Sorry about that, but hopefully you enjoyed the giveaways in the meantime. We are just going to get right into the second draft here, into the second and final match of the stream today. And we've got a few familiar names, a few really good players as well. We've got Dave W, Ubi, and Nikki versus Rado, Sam, and Edster. So, definitely some bigger tournament names as well. So I'm sure even people that aren't super familiar with the Scrim Show or competitive scene might recognize some of these people. Very good players, and
easily in the top 20, the 6 of the top 20, if not 6 of the top 10 players in the game at the moment. So, really good. I'm excited to go ahead and take a look at this. With that said, the draft itself is an interesting one. Let's go ahead and start off with the bans and the picks. We've got a first ban on Genji, then a ban on Taveni. Red team bans out Deadlift. Blue team bans out Jimmy/Amy, depending on which team you're on. Then the red team goes ahead and first picks Frog. Blue team picks up Swiggins and Penny to compensate. Red team picks up Sentry to round out their top 2. Then we've got a ban on an Ix here, and that makes a lot of sense to me. We can go into that maybe a bit later. Ban onto Leon after by the blue team. Final picks end up being Senya and then Durple. And we are on Aiguillon, so it's worth keeping in mind just how impressive a Durple player can, how much stuff a Durple player can do. Uber, what do you think are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on these two teams right now in the drafting process?
Well, we've actually got a very similar team to the team that Mr. Pillow was playing on before, Nick and etc. on that team. Except you're not, instead of the skull, you have the penny, which has the knockback, and you've got a lot more damage, and you've still got really good lockdown. You don't have the throw into a snare trap this time, so, I mean, it's still going to be a super effective team, I'm not going to lie. Aguilon is great for good initiators and nukers, and then for the, for Rado, Sam, and Edster's team, you have, well, Assassination is pretty much the good team name for it, because you've got the Froggy G, you've got the Ksenia, that's really fast, mobile damage dealers that can just go in, do 1,000 damage, and get out. It doesn't matter. And Sentry is going to be really good for clearing, soaking up damage, and trapping the slightly larger targets as well. And, just setting up for, the team wipe. If you just, you just get the black hole into Splash Dash, Tornado, throw in some scissors, you get a very, very nice, stir fry of, well, that Awesomenauts.
All right, well, honestly, that seems to simplify, that's the perfect explanation as far as I was concerned as well. So I'm totally happy going straight into the match if you are.
Absolutely. Let me just kind of make sure that everything is working and nothing is, on fire. And that doesn't seem to be the case. Good. All right.
Good.
My computer lasts another day. I'm at the 12-second mark.
As am I. Ready? Yeah, I am ready. On my mark. 3, 2, 1... mark. And we're still in Aiguillon, which is a competitive, map as far as competitive players are concerned. Recommended by competitive players everywhere. Warning, does not reflect the opinion of all players. Ubi playing your Penny, you got Dave W playing your Swiggins, and you got Nikki playing your Durple, which ought to be interesting. He gets caught in a black hole, which is put down there by Sam on your blue team. You've got Rado, who just got picked off as the Frog. And then to return things, Edster on your Ksenia. Helping to get that kill onto the Durple to start things off, and might put themselves in a weird situation as there was a 2v1 there for a minute, but that black hole kind of simplified things, made it a one-on-one, and if there's anything that Ksenia is good at, it's a one-on-one situation. Seriously, she does so much damage so quickly, it's difficult to deal with as any character.
Absolutely, and we can see so many kills and just so much death coming out already. 2 kills for the blue team, 1 kill for the red team, most of it getting picked up, or assisting sort of the pickups with Edster there, and Sentry Black Hole definitely helped secure one of those kills on the bigger targets like I was talking about before. Dave W is actually going to get the nice anchor drop and hook on Edster. He can go invis, but it's not going to save him because that chain hook is just going to just show the enemy team exactly where he is. Big, giant, glowing line, kind of hard to miss. But
yeah,
you got the red team here trying to make a bit of a push on bottom. But they're not going to be able to do much because it's just too early and the respawns are so fast. And, no droids, so you could just poke at it a little bit. What do you think the next initiation is going to be like?
Well, it's going to be something along the lines of either Sam gets something started off or Swiggins gets something started off. But Sentry is definitely the blue team's kind of muscle. He's the one that needs to go in and make sure that things are set up for the rest of his team. Although Senya can do quite a lot on her own thanks to that silence on her daggers every time that she exits stealth. So there's something to be said for that. Speaking of those scissors of hers, already max damage scissors, so that's terrifying. I'm worried, honestly, as to whether or not Edster's going to be able to do everything that Edster wants to do. But Xenia, if any character can do well, it's Xenia.
Oh, dear.
Or not, because Snare Trap into Terribleness got her killed. Now it's Rado's turn. Rado will get out of there, just barely. Sam going to just hang around, make sure the Frog's okay. Should be fine overall, and Swiggins is upstairs. Was invisible last time I saw him, but the threat of this red team, the threat range of this red team is absolutely amazing. Between Grapple and, just Nuke and Penny and everything else, there's a lot here that you have to get through first before you can actually get to their team.
Absolutely. I mean, like, as you were talking about before, Edster with that max damage scissors really makes sense when you got beefier characters like Durple. And Swiggins, he's a little bit of squid muscle on him, a little bit of squid beef, and he's got like 1600 health at base because of that. And the scissors are going to help a lot because they deal extra damage based on your max health, 3% I think. Yeah, 3% of the NA Awesomenauts health plus 100 flat damage, and then you can get the damage bonus. That's really strong. Already you're dealing 200 damage per scissor to Durple, which is 800 damage at 3 minutes in, which is really good. And then you can get stuff like auto attack upgrades and the ability to regen your scissors faster, and then you could just start shredding those tanks, especially as you get later into the game, maybe have some amp damage on your side. So I don't think the blue team can really get that, but Sam's actually going to go down to the delayed nuke. He's just going to be able to stand there and take the nuke from Nikki with Edster picking up the retaliation kill. Ubi's in a terrible spot, just getting poked around and just getting toyed with by the blue team, getting a double kill for Edster there. And now got Rado and Edster, the assassin squad, going in, but Nikki's got the rather perplexing nuke there as he just kind of stares at it for a second. The blue team just trying to clear, get some poke and all that good stuff. Not too much going to happen though, like 1 bar off, like not even half a bar off of the top turret. Not much you can do with Froggy and Ksenia when pushing, unless you've got some real beef to back it up. And that's the problem with the blue team so far. They don't have the best push. Like, you do have good structure damage, but the problem is your clear is okay, but you got to get really close, except for like Sentry. And when you're dealing with a Swiggins and a Durple, minus like say the Skoldir this time, you don't want to get too close to that. With Ubi actually able to pick up the kill on Edster while I'm talking about other random stuff, who cares about that? And now we got the red team making a bit of a push on this top turret here. Dave W going to try and go in, not going to be able to find the anchor hook that he needs. And we're seeing some very useful upgrades for Ksenia here.
Absolutely. No, like with Ksenia, getting the slow and virtual girl allows her to do a lot more against this Durple player. Speaking of which, Nikki gets picked off by Sam, and that well-placed black hole is going to guarantee the kill. Frog going in doing lots of damage to that dash NATO combo of, antiquity. It's been around since the beginning of the game, really. In actual lifespan terms, since 5 years ago, dash NATO's been a thing. There's a lot going on here in terms of the dynamic between Swiggins, I feel, and the entirety of the blue team. The threat range on Swiggins is fantastic, and it's not like as if the red team has been falling behind. In fact, Swiggins, might be 0-1, but has been there for so many kills that he's been helpful in every single aspect of this red team's successes. And if that keeps up, that could be very scary. But Outcomes, they've really well-placed black hole. It's going to be an easy kill onto the Durple. But at what cost? Ubi picks up a kill onto Edster. Now needs to run away. The traps aren't quite enough. Rado goes in with a dash, but misplaces it. Gets killed off by Dave W in a bad spot. Needs to be careful not to advance onto Sam and Sam. Vice versa. That's going to be a kind of a two-way, respectful back-off. No one deciding to really man up into that particular situation, as that would have been very, very stupid.
Dave W, what are you doing?
He dashed in, and he paid the price. He let the turret kill him. That was not very intelligent.
By the turret by dashing into the red turret. The Dave W just like, I got this. Hold my beer. Goes into the blue turret and just dies to it after taking some auto attack shots from Sam.
Oh, I got this. Hold my beer. I think that's probably the one meme that best describes Swiggins in a nutshell. Just anything that you can think of that would be nuts. Watch him do it worse. Rado's going to be able to pick up a kill onto Ubi. Again, that That black hole placement is so important. They need to make sure that they continue to land it. And there's a lot to be said here for just the amount of damage the blue team can put out after something like that. Dave W, probably the last person you want defending a turret right now. Nikki gets completely caught out by a black hole. Gets dealt a lot of damage by Edster. So Edster is keeping on top of things. Has recently picked up the Deja Vu blocker, so that's going to be very annoying. Having an extra second of silence whenever she pops out of Invis is going to be brutal to deal with for many of the characters on the red team, in particular Penny, who cannot do anything if she's silenced, really. Grapple comes out and ends up missing. Sam puts out a black hole. Out comes the dash, the NATO, but at what cost? Rado takes a ton of work. Sam's trying to body block. Edster puts out a silence. It's going to keep Penny silenced for a decent amount of time. Edster will be able to safely back off as well. Sam also alive after all that. And the blue team, I think, largely saved thanks to a very well-placed and very risky silence out of Xenia there.
Edster is...
Dash NATO is going to be able to pick up the kill onto Nikki. Now, Ubi in a weird spot, needs to be a little bit careful not to get caught out, but there's a little bit too much pressure on the blue turrets there. So, yeah, action just constant here. 8 minutes into this game. It's currently level 7 to level 7. Teams are about equal, but there is an experience advantage here for the blue team as they start to really put their synergies together, black hole into all the rest of the damage that they've got.
Absolutely. The blue team is just trying to take this bottom turret here, just poking at it with Edster putting in the work with the scissors, but he's going to take a lot of damage. He's actually going to go down to the pounce with Dave W managing to survive just barely with about a bar of health there. Isn't able to get a hook there. Just blue team is too fast, too quick. But red team just trying to chase, get their ground back as well, keep the pressure up with Durple snare traps, and just with Penny being able to harass. Dave W slowly regenerating his health back and looking for health backs and all the good stuff. They're going to be able to get a little bit of push here. The pulse is coming on Rado, dealing a little bit of damage in the amp, but he's not going to get hit by the nuke if he knows what he's doing, which he does, thankfully. And now, just, blue team clearing, they want to take back the ground that they just lost because of the red team's pressure and pick on Edster. Dave W just barely able to kind of slip out of that black hole there. Edster was about to punish him for that, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen with Dave W teleporting back. And we got the blue team just kind of all on bottom here, except for Rado, who's going to teleport back as well, meaning it's kind of a 2v2 here until Swiggins gets back, and he's currently buying and thinking about his upgrades. Going to pick up that Fanatic Spoon. Lots of extra bursts. Costs a little bit of money, but if you really want to maximize your burst, that's the way to go. You get double blue heart metal, Fanatic Spoon, plenty of burst, plus maybe some auto attack damage in order to chase and finish people off.
It is very important to make sure that you've got Pneumatic Spoon, I think. It is the best damage upgrade on his row, or at least the most reliable. Nikki taking a decent amount of damage is going to be out of the fight for the next couple seconds. Rado does get picked off regardless. So does Dave W, though. A 1-for-1 exchange so far. Ubi needs to be very careful. Edster comes in with a kill. Scissors cutting the Penny's life a bit short there. Might want to get a refund on that haircut if you're being honest here. Edster is looking for an opportunity onto Nikki and finds it. Does a good amount of damage, like easily over 400, but we'll just go right back up to dealing damage to this turret and making sure that the droids are pushing it as hard as possible. Nikki now in a weird situation, maybe on the wrong side of Xenia, to be honest with you, but otherwise fine. You know what? Blue team, good job. That was an excellent engage. Managed to at least trade 2-for-1, which is very important. Sam needs to be a bit careful. Does end up getting that turret, though, and really making that fight worth it. Lots of money on this Sentry player, so he's going to have to head on back, make sure he's going to put that power on the table instead of keeping it in your pocket. That's an important rule in Awesomenauts. Lots of damage going out to Ubi. The Teleburst and all of Edster's scissors are going to be able to do a decent amount to this Penny Fox. But Penny Fox does get away. Dave W will get the kill onto Rado instead. So what seemed to be an easy 1-for-0 pickoff for the blue team ends up being a 1-for-0 pickoff the other way around. And now Edster needs to be careful, putting on scissors, making sure that Nikki isn't too close, and goes right back up to farming. And that's signs of life coming out of this red team now that he got that one pickoff onto the Frog. Out comes Pulse, which is very frustrating at this stage of the game. Has silence and range. Not even damage yet, but doesn't really need damage. When you've got silence on it, it's already as dangerous about as dangerous as it needs to be, especially against a team that relies on abilities like Frog and Sentry.
Absolutely, yeah. We're actually seeing a lot of health upgrades coming out from the blue team here. I mean, you got pills on Ksenia and Sentry, not Froggy, because on Froggy it really doesn't help too much. He's just got so little health to begin with. Like, you're paying 260 solar for like 300 health, something around there, maybe a little more than that. But Edster's going to go in and try to get some poke on Ubi, but it's not really going to be able to do anything. But that's Ksenia's job, just harass and poke and assassinate when you need to. And that is what Ksenia excels at, and that is what Edster excels at with Ksenia. Edster being a great Ksenia player, I got to admit, and he can pull out some crazy stuff if he really, you know, puts his heart into it. And it looks like he might try to get some poke here. Just going to clear. We got Rado and Sam grouping up with Edster as well. They're just kind of grouping up on top here. There's a black hole going to catch out Nikki, but Edster isn't there after I just praised him. You just need to throw the scissors, Edster. But he wasn't there in order to capitalize on that black hole. And Nikki is just going to set up these traps. Almost catches Edster with that, but Edster is able to kind of tell that he's there and swerve to the right a little bit. Just barely dodge that trap with Edster just... Well, I keep talking about Edster. Let's talk about someone else. We got the red team here. We got Dave W on bottom. Well, the red team's falling back to clear a little bit. We got Rado going up the top, rotating the group up with Sam. Maybe they can get a black hole going, but it's just a little more poke going on in here. Not too much happening. Just clear. Red team trying to get some ground back. Blue trying to deny that while they farm, get some money, maybe get some important upgrades here, and wait for the next big initiation from their initiators. And here comes Sam. He's actually going to
get caught. Might end up happening here. Grapple drop comes out, does a ton of damage to the blue team. It's already 2 dead. Easy. But on the flip side, Rado very, very low. Might have been able to escape. Has put himself in a weird situation. Gets picked off by a very well-placed Pulse. Excellent prediction from Ubi. And that's going to be an easy turret. Maybe even 2 of them for this red team. Down goes the bomb turret. Now they decide to switch up here, rotating to the top lane. Lots of damage going on this top lane's turret as well. Losing HP like it's no one else's business. Now this bottom turret's turn. Lots of damage coming out on this one as well. It's already down to 2/3. It's down to a half. This thing's going down incredibly fast. The amount of push on this red team is incredible. Sam comes in from behind, lands a black hole, but at what cost? Nikki is still alive. Sam's taking a ton of damage. Edster doing as much as possible on the backside, but unable to quite find a kill. The snare trap on the backside is still going to keep him alive. Nikki tries to put out a nuke. Will not be able to do so before getting dashed and killed. Edster picks up a kill onto Dave W, and that's going to be a 2-for-1. And by a 2-for-1, I mean a 2-for-none, my bad. But, again, that was a really, really rough time regardless. Like, red team is still happy to have been there and happy to have showed up to the to this particular party. They got 3 turrets. They managed to open up the core. If blue loses one more fight, they're done.
Yeah, like, there were 3 turrets gone from that, and that's just the power of, like, Gun, Penny, and Dirple. They can melt those towers, like, no question. Swinging has pretty respectable structure damage as well. Nikki's actually going to get caught in the black hole, but Ubi's going to pick up the kill on Edster after Nikki lays the smackdown on him, making that 1 death with the blue team here. If they're not careful, this might just be the end of the game. Rado's going to get the cheeky dash and bring Ubi down to about half health, with Nikki even less than that at about 4 or 5 bars here.
Ubi's got a gun.
1,000 health.
Oh, the pounce is really, really important there. He manages to get off the pounce and gets out of there alive. Ubi now putting out a ton of damage onto this core. 180 per flower power bullet at this point. Rado needs to be careful. So does Sam. Sam gets off the black hole. It does a decent amount of damage. Now everybody on the red team's a little bit low, but they're backing off. They're playing it safe. And that's exactly what they need to do. Get whatever opportunities they can when they can. Nikki, instead of dying, ends up getting a good snare trap off and puts a nuke in an interesting direction. Ends up not really using the nuke, but gets out fine just the same. So I'm sure that worked out exactly the way as he planned it. Edster gets a little bit caught on the back end, does a barrel roll to get out of some sticky situations, puts out some daggers, ends up hitting with 1 or 2 of them, but that's going to be about that for that engagement for now. The red team is back to putting pressure back on these blue turrets and making sure that this blue team is on their back foot.
Absolutely. I mean, like, you can't beat the power of flower power, love, happiness, and guns.
Love, happiness, and guns, yeah. It's honestly like the power of heart from Captain Planet. And speaking of which, lots of damage going on to this blue team. Out comes the Pulse, but Dave W is the one to get picked off as he grapples into a situation with a black hole that the rest of his team decide, nah. Frog very low, but Rado is still escaping for now. But for now is only some really good clutch HP going the way of Rado. Rado taking a ton of damage on the backside. Will eventually end up going down. But at what cost? Edster is sneaking around, looking for an opportunity. And won't quite find it yet. Nikki puts out a trap in a very sneaky situation where you can't see it. And yeah, like things are kind of going right back to where they were a second or 2 ago. Without the Swiggins, it feels like the red team doesn't have the on-demand burst to really make this one completely sing so far.
Yeah, I mean, like, the red team just needs to get, like, 1 more kill, 1 cheeky kill like that. Like, they've gotten all the ground back after getting the kill on Froggy, and Froggy's just going to be back in a second, though. But if they could just, keep that pressure up and just take out that top turret, they're going to win the game just because they've got way more poke and pressure than the blue team does right now. I mean, Ksenia's great at poking, but when you got Gunpenny and Durple, you can just throw out nukes at the towers every 15 seconds. Kind of hard to beat that, and it's also really good for clearing. Both teams have pretty solid clear, though. But
if the red team ends up winning a team fight, though, it is going to be over. There will be no turret assault. It will be straight up going to the core. Nikki taking a ton of damage. Out comes the black hole. It ends up missing everybody. Red team now sees this as an opportunity maybe to go win there. Dave W. in particular had a very aggressive posture, but decides to back off for now. It's definitely game over if blue loses a team fight badly enough. Like if two of the members go down. But Nikki taking a ton of damage on the backside. Out comes the black hole. Dave W in a weird spot. Takes a lot of damage off the black hole and Edster. On the backside, though, Edster needs to be careful. Dave W eating a dash. A NATO. Ubi gets the kill on Torado instead.
Wow.
Surprise turnaround. Now Ubi putting out the firepower gun. Gets caught in the black hole and gets completely caught out by Edster. A huge amount of burst. Dave W needs to be very careful here since Edster has a lot of burst pretty much on demand whenever possible. Those scissors come back very quickly. And now Sam and Edster going to go ahead and clear out the lanes, push things back on towards the red team. Every exchange is a positive one for them at this point. They are slightly behind in terms of experience, and it's again, signs of life are important. They're an important show of their morale and their ability to kind of keep this game going, and they can win this. It just really depends a lot on making sure that they get more than one pick off at a time. Out comes the grapple. The drop is real. Edster does get caught by both, but will back off safely, more or less. Does get caught out in the snare trap, and down he goes. The nuke is going to be an easy kill in there. Edster getting way too aggressive. Now the rest of the red team is continuing to chase down the rest of the blue team here. They are going for core. Ubi, in particular, very happy to do so, landing at least one more attack will be enough to get the flower power gun on anything at all. So that's going to be the flower power gun right there, pretty much. As the droid wave comes forward, Ubi now in a really good position to just sit back and enjoy killing everything. Gets a kill on Torado, whose grapple drops. Sam has a black hole. He puts it out. Mickey's going to stay in turret mode to make sure he doesn't take as much damage. Ubi putting as much damage to the count to the core, and that's going to be an easy core kill as soon as they get one kill on the Xenia. That was very well played. Ubi in particular going 12-5 there as an MVP in terms of turret damage and actual damage. That was something else.
Yeah, I mean, like the red team's team comp can just like melt those bases, those structures as well, and all they need is one good kill, and well, in this case, more like two. But either way, they got it done, and even though like. I mean, the red team. I'm trying to find words. You're a commentator. You gotta be good at this. But either way, the red team, they just had all the pressure and the ability to get that ground back after just getting one good kill. Well, the blue team had structure damage and they had decent clear, but they didn't really have the ability to put on pressure like the red team does. Like Ksenia is okay at that. Sentry can be okay at that as well, and so can Froggy especially if you're running something like Clocks. But I mean, even with Curry Mammoth against that silence and against the snare traps, there's not much you could do against that, and the blue team might have been in a bit of a disadvantage in the draft. Maybe if it was a different map where it was a little more open, because Aguilon is very crowded and just tiny. It's very compressed. They might have had a bit more of a chance, but the red team they kept the pressure on. They were melting those towers, but at any opportunity they got, they like get a team wipe. 3 towers are gone, and a quarter of your base's health. Not much you can do against that, and eventually it's just going to be a war of attrition until you lose.
With that said, though, it was pretty close for a couple of moments there, but it just seemed like there wasn't quite enough to maintain pressure on the blue team. So that will be an easy win for the red instead, and another notch on the belt of Nikki and Ubi, both of whom are not exactly strangers to victory as far as the Awesomenauts community is concerned. With that said, though, that brings down our second game of today's Scrim Show, bringing us to the end. Are there any other any other announcements that we need to get across? For instance, any big tournaments that involve fists flying into people's faces?
Yeah, I suppose we should maybe mention this one more time, because you love the fists and the punches, the flexing.
Who does not, though?
Really. But yeah, the Skoldir Showdown, we're just going to give a quick little shout out again to it in case you maybe joined halfway through the stream, because we shouted it out at the beginning. It is a Skoldir Showdown 1v1 open invite Skull tournament. You can sign up. Sign-up's closed today at 8 p.m. Eastern, so 5 p.m. Pacific time and early morning if you're in the UK. So if you really want to do that, if you really want to join this tournament, and you don't really have to be any specific like level, even if you're like a lower league, just join for fun. I'm not exactly a good skull, and I've still joined. Just remember, April 1st, check-ins at I'm not sure what time it is. I think it's 9 a.m. Eastern, but you know, sign up for
it
that.
Might be 8. I'm not sure. Either way, it's not exactly super long from now. So if you are interested, why not at least give it a try? It's worth at least giving it a shot, I would think, for most people. Not me. We've already determined who the worst skull deer on the planet is. It's me. But so we're not doing that. This is a tournament for the best skull deer on the planet, and at least in a one-on-one type of tournament, type of setting. So go ahead, sign up, put your, test your mettle, I suppose, in this particular case, especially considering that skull deer is a character that's almost completely encased in this stuff. And that could be a very interesting watch, to say the least. Was there anything else that we need to ship out?
I don't think so. Just, sign up for that if you want to. I mean, even I'm in it, and I'm probably like the second worst skull. But anyways, enough talking about the skull deer tournaments. I think we're done with this Scrim Show. I think we've pretty much wrapped up what we needed to. Thanks, everybody, for watching.
Wait, hold on, though. While you still have the opportunity, on top of giving out those things, make sure to go ahead and plug in where people can find you if you're interested in doing that.
People can find me. Oh, you mean I can plug my stream and no one's gonna stop me?
That's exactly right.
You've got the floor, bud. The power.
Right. Well, twitch.tv/UberEngine, you can watch me and my superior gameplay of Awesomenauts and various other games sometimes, but it's usually just Awesomenauts. Maybe you could plug your stream, Slow Wolf.
Well, you guys can find me at twitch.tv/SlowWolf. You can also find me on YouTube as Slow Wolf Gaming. And on Twitter at SlowWolf, where I post whether I'm streaming or have a YouTube video that's come out. Where on YouTube anyway, there's a pretty consistent Awesomenauts series going on. We're on episode 173 right now, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, that's about it from us. Back to you, I guess. Uber, sign us off.
Yeah, I think we've dragged this off long enough. If you want to, keep in contact with the Scrim Show and with Awesomenauts Rumble, look down below for all of our social information with things like Twitter, Discord, and Steam, etc. There's also the Awesomenauts Scrim portal, which is something we heavily endorse because it helps keep the Awesomenauts community alive. We're kind of just plugging everything we plugged at the beginning, but we're really dragging this on. But thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you, Slow Wolf, for casting with me. And thank you, Mr. Pillow, for hosting the stream, and for the various mods watching in the chat right now, and for putting up with me and Slow Wolf having to listen to us for like an hour. Gosh.
Yeah, because we're lovely and awesome, and our voices are practically butter. Thank you, everybody, so much for watching. We hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. We know that we sure did. And we'll see you guys in the next Awesomenauts Scrim Show. See you later.
Bye.